Hi everyone, welcome to ELI, the place where we get your daily dose of inspiration for entrepreneurship. And today we have with us Mr. Ramkumar Subramaniam, who is the co-founder of Guardianlink, which is building tech infrastructure to help NFT commerce go mainstream. Hi Ramkumar, welcome to ELI.
Hi, Priyaranjan. How are you?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Thanks for having me here. It's definitely a pleasure.
It's our pleasure also. I'd request you to introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure. So this is Ramkumar. I'm one of the co-founders and CEO of Guardianlink. We are an NFT ecosystem company. We work with artists, brands, and
Mm,
gaming companies to launch NFTs. And we've been a blockchain R&D firm all these years. And we got into NFTs about 2 years back. And we created the NFT market in India. I would probably say that. And we started launching NFTs with Amitabh Bachchan's launch. And till now, we've done about 8 different NFTs. Recently being one of the game launches that we've done. And we have been in the space for quite long to know that NFTs is the future, and digital asset revolution is happening right now. And I think we are in the right place for that.
okay. Lord, before we start talking about the venture, I would like to, give a perspective to our listeners who do not know much about the NFT thing. So, can you describe in a very layman-ish fourth grade language what is NFT and why is it a big thing?
Sure. So NFT abbreviation is a non-fungible token, right? As it declares, each token is non-fungible, being very unique, right? For example, uh, a 10 rupee note that you have and I have is pretty much the same. Both has the same value, and we
Mm,
can exchange it among us. And it, in the end, even if we exchange, it has the same value. But for example, a Pokemon card or a WWE card, which we have used when we are young, right?
mhm,
Each card is unique. Each card has its own attributes. Card has its value.
mm,
You know that they would have printed limited edition cards and stuff like that, right?
mm.
So an NFT is unique on its own. Each NFT has its own properties and has its own record on the blockchain, which is unique, and it cannot be interchanged for one another. And the value of each NFT will have its based on its attributes. So that's the core difference between a regular fungible token, which is like any other crypto that is outside, and a
Mm.
non-fungible token, which are NFTs in the market.
Okay.
And
I
what uses people have done, sorry to interrupt you. So to just go a little brief,
yeah.
the use case of this has expanded, right? Just it started with artwork, where
Mm,
they've taken unique artworks and they've represented that using NFTs. And from there, they've kind of progressed and moved on to video-based NFTs, and then gaming assets have become NFTs, and pretty much anything which is digital, where you can prove its ownership on the blockchain and prove that the NFT, the artwork, and whatever it is unique, that
mm,
has been transformed to being an NFT.
okay. What problem is it solving for our society? Like when blockchain came, the big problem statement was decentralization and transferability of funds and all. So can you in similar language, can you tell us what is the problem that NFT is solving for our society?
Sure. So, if you take a look at NFT, right? So, one major problem or a gap that has been solving is that until now, whatever you buy in the blockchain, buy in the internet, right? Right from the 2000 when internet started, if you
Mm,
buy something on the internet or if you own something on the internet, there is no proof of ownership to it. The proof of ownership is centralized. You can't prove that you own this on the internet. It is even if it's been proved, it's proved by a centralized body. Blockchain changed that. The first time when NFTs came about, when you own a digital asset, you can prove it on the blockchain on a decentralized pattern that you own that particular asset, and that particular asset is unique to its address that we own onto, right? So that kind of revolutionized how digital asset ownership is seen in the internet right now. Because if you take a look at it, let's say I have a product that I bought online, and it's an image, and I bought it from, let's say, a site which goes ahead and sells images.
mm,
I own it as according to the records of that particular website, right?
okay.
What is that disputed legally, right? I can go ahead and say that no, I own it, and then there can be legal proceedings, and we have to prove the ownership. They can tamper with the data and whatnot.
Mm,
But on the blockchain, every record is stored. The first ownership is stored. If there is a change that is being done, that is also being stored. And
okay.
all of this record is saved on a decentralized ledger. So
Okay.
that kind of changed ownership, and the authenticity of how showing your ownership changed totally with that. And it kind of brought in the concept of being immutable and completely decentralized. I think that's what became a revolution. And that's the reason why NFTs became a huge hype. You know,
Mm,
after the art revolution that happened probably about 30, 40 years back, I
mm,
guess the only time that artwork and media kind of seen revolution is with the NFTs. And as I told you, right, that has progressed on from artwork to media to gaming and all that.
gotcha. Tell us, you give us a context, what is NFT and all, and you also told what is it doing for our society. What are you guys doing with your venture? What is it that you are doing? What are the products, services, or the platforms that you have built?
Sure. So we are an NFT ecosystem company, as I told you. So we work with various artists, brands, and gaming firms,
Mm-hmm.
where we go ahead and launch NFTs for these ventures, right? And there are two parts to our product. One is infrastructure layer, where we provide a no-code platform for NFT launches,
Mm-hmm.
and then we have our own B2C marketplace where
Okay.
we launch NFTs. We started working with celebrities and brands, and we launched various NFTs for them. And
Mm-hmm.
what we understood as we launched and as we grew the market here in India and across the globe as well is that NFTs need utility, right? On a
Mm-hmm.
long-term basis, you can't own an NFT and not have a use case for it. It can just
Okay.
cannot work on a model of being around hype,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we understood that and we brought in utilities to the NFTs that we launched.
Okay.
And as a first part of it, we are bringing gaming as a utility because
Mm-hmm.
on a metaverse is sort of like a long-term vision, right? But you need to start somewhere, and that's where we see gaming. And when you buy an NFT, if you could use it in a game and
Mm-hmm.
have a passive income generated,
Mm-hmm.
that brings a use case for your NFT that you hold on. And what we do is we launch games, which are play-to-earn games,
Mm-hmm.
and there are NFTs that you can buy and you can participate in these games. You could also buy NFTs for the brands that we work with and the celebrities that we work with. And we have integrated those NFTs to the games that we are launching. The first game that we have is a cricket game. So you could buy cricket NFTs and you could play with them. These are batsman and bowler NFTs that you
Mm-hmm.
can play in the game. And as you play the game, you earn rewards and you can upgrade your NFTs. And the rewards are basically your monetary rewards that you get. And then you can use that to buy more NFTs and trade these NFTs and have a complete ecosystem within that. The brands are integrated directly to these games. So the brand-based NFTs also can be brought and they can also be used in the game. And you can have a monetary benefit out of these brand NFTs and the celebrity NFTs that we launch.
Mm-hmm.
So we launched a cricket game now, and the next game would be a racing game. The
Okay.
cricket game currently we have about 10,000 active users, overall about 100,000 registered users,
Mm-hmm.
and the racing game will be launched about few months later, and
Mm-hmm.
then post that we have a couple of other games that we're launching as well.
Okay. You said
Yeah.
you launched games. How is it different from the games that are launched on Play Store, for example, or available on internet?
So if you take a look at the games that are in Play Store and App Store, those are usually hyper casual and casual games, are free to play games, where you
Mm,
can go ahead and download them and play it as an entertainment, right? But these what games that we have are play to earn games, and where the NFT are your ownership to participate in the game, right? So you can own the assets that you play used in the game.
mhm,
So it gives a value to the ownership that you have, and there is a price at which you own the NFT, and you can retrade it for the time and effort and money that you use to buy that NFT.
mm,
And apart from that, you would earn rewards as you play the NFT game, right? And it's sort of like your passive income that is keep on generating as you hold on to these NFTs and they play the game on a constant basis. So
mm,
it's a bit different from the existing games that is there in the Play Store and App Store. It has built in a way that you see it as a game which will generate revenue for you, and also you keep getting entertained based on how the game progresses and how we have weekly updates that is going on.
Hmm.
So it's something that is new in the market. We've seen that happen with other players like Axie Infinity and all that across Southeast Asia. It has been a great rage there. India is a very similar market. India has a huge scope of audience who are looking for these kind of play to earn games, who are looking to have a passive income. And I think we have the largest population in terms of age group between 18 to 35.
Hmm.
And the market is pretty much looking for something like this. So it has been a great traction. I think there are more games that we will be launching in a similar manner where people can go ahead and own NFTs, trade them, use them in the game, and earn rewards.
Okay. So for
Yeah.
game, I totally understood the use case, but can you give example outside gaming, like like the work you did with celebrities? How did you launch these NFTs, and what were the use cases?
For example, we worked with Mr. Amitabh Bachchan, and the reason we worked with him is we wanted to introduce NFTs to India, right?
Mhm.
And I think he's one of the best person to work with in terms of bringing technology to the masses, right? Because he's been always adopting technology right from the early days of Twitter, blogging, and all that. So I think we wanted to do that. We wanted to build that awareness in India, and that is one of the reasons we worked with him. And what we understood is that celebrities have this pulling crowd where once you launch a news with someone like Amitabh Bachchan, and
Mhm.
everyone is curious about what is it, right? It creates that immediate awareness about NFTs. And
Mhm.
that has turned out well for us. When we went ahead and launched these NFTs, we had about 8 million hits in our website when Amitabh Bachchan NFTs were launched. And all the entire sale happened in about
Mhm.
50 minutes time. The entire NFTs were sold out, and we were
Okay.
able to sell out for about $1 million.
Hmm.
And we specifically choose certain attributes of Amitabh Bachchan that we wanted to bring along in the NFT collection. One, he's known for his voice, and
Okay.
that's where we have one collection which is about his father's poem called Madhushala, where he renders it in English and Hindi and explains about the poem.
Mhm.
It went for a highest bid about $700,000, both these two collections. And the remaining collections was movie posters. He's obviously known for his movies. Iconic movies are there.
Hmm.
And the audience wanted to own posters of his movies where he's handcrafted and he signed it on his hand, right? And we took moments of those posters and also gave away the posters as part of the NFT sale.
Mhm.
And the third collection was profile picture NFTs, PFPs of Amitabh Bachchan, where we went ahead and had various characters of Amitabh Bachchan sketched and generated across multiple backgrounds and clothing. So
Mhm.
these clothings are attributes. So each NFT will look unique, and each NFT will have a character from Amitabh Bachchan in a particular place and a particular background.
Mhm.
Reimagine if Sholay was,
Mhm.
in Diwar scene, and how was Diwar in Sholay scene kind of thing.
Mhm.
And we went ahead and had that as a separate collection. Those were sold at about $10. Overall, about $100,000 was collected out of that.
Mhm.
Right now, they're reiterating at probably around $1,000, $2,000, right? People have already seen 10x to 100x of how much they've invested. So that's how our collection with celebrities went,
Mhm.
and I think it was very good success with Amitabh Bachchan.
Mhm.
And with that, we went ahead and launched Stanley's NFTs. Stanley, who's the creator of Marvel, and his
Mhm.
NFTs was launched, and we have various collection right from PFPs to audios to images and also videos that are sold in this collection. So those are two interesting celebrity launches that we've done, and both of them have been very successful. In fact, Stanley's NFTs, we launched 12,000 NFTs and it was sold out in 51 seconds.
Mhm.
During that time, that was the fastest selling NFT ever. So
Mhm.
it has been an exciting time when we worked with celebrities.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So in this whole process, we as a venture, how do we make money out of this whole thing?
Sure. So it depends on whether it's a brand or a celebrity or an individual. Again, it's all about the content. If you have the right content and if you're able to monetize it,
Mm.
I think NFTs is one of the best way to go forward, right?
Mm.
So, if a particular audio or even a podcast, if it's being streamed on a third-party provider like a Spotify or a YouTube,
Mhm.
you know that that particular provider charges a service fee, and
Mm.
there is the revenue share and all that that goes in. But as an NFT, you own the asset and you can determine where to sell it and how to sell it and what will be the proceedings that will come forward.
Mm-hmm.
And you could also share the proceedings with the ownership of the people who buy your NFTs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So as an artist or even as an influencer, you could work directly with your audience and you can reach out to your audience directly with NFTs. So that's one of the use cases of NFTs, right? Which comes to media and content. The
Mm-hmm.
other use case of NFTs are pretty much about ownership, right? So let's say you're buying a vehicle, you could have the ownership data of the vehicle on an NFT as a certificate. And when you go ahead and resell it, someone who buys it will have the entire data of the vehicle, the history of the vehicle, when it was serviced, when it was repaired, and all that. So anywhere we can bring in ownership and monetization of that ownership through a digital asset, I guess that's where NFTs can fill in.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just at its very initial stages. There is a lot of use cases that are coming on. We recently saw Starbucks went ahead and launched loyalty program on NFTs. So like this, there are many utilities that you can bring onto NFTs for sure. So I think we are in this initial stages how internet was in 2000s, right?
Mm-hmm.
So use cases can be built as things progress.
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh, Tell us a little bit about the this venture. How did this venture evolve over time? When did it start? How was the first day like? What was your initial idea when you went on to start a company?
Sure. So, me and my co-founders, right, we've been in this industry for quite long, and we've been focused on blockchain as a technology for the last 4 to 5 years, and we've seen almost every downturn that has happened in blockchain. And when
Mm-hmm.
we saw NFT as an NFT boom happening around the early 2020s and 21s, we understood that this is something that is there to stay because there's a lot of use case about it. Even if you take a look at crypto, it's more of a use case where you can use it as a financial solution where you can use it for payments or you can trade it, right? But
Mm-hmm.
the use case of NFT kind of moves away from that and is used across multiple demographics and also
Mm-hmm.
various solutions that I just talked about, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that kind of intrigued us, and we understood that this is the next wave that we need to take forward and ride on, and also at least bring it to India.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we started. So when we started Guardianlink, we were already a company with 300 employees doing big on blockchain, and we were bootstrapped completely.
Mm-hmm.
And when we understood that we would like to take the company to the next stage, we thought we'll go ahead and raise funds. We raised institutional funding from Kalari and
Mm-hmm.
also a private capital firm based out of US. And from there, we went ahead and started launching various projects. And that's how Amitabh Bachchan and the game and all those things happened.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Uh, what were some of the challenges that you have faced while building and growing this venture?
The challenge has always been talent, right? So, talent in India for blockchain is again across the globe also this has been a challenge.
Mm.
And so, training the talent, making people understand about blockchain and educating them on blockchain and bringing the technology to India is always a challenge. And apart from that, awareness in terms of how it is different from crypto and what are the use cases of NFTs and what is NFTs? Everyone has this question. What is NFT?
Mm.
So uh, creating that awareness and creating that use case of NFTs has been a good challenge to face, in fact. And I think that's one of the reasons we've built multiple use cases and we've been able to be successfully launching use cases as possible in the last 6 to 8 months. And these are two challenges I would say, but pretty much as any firm out there, we have our own challenges that happens across.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell us about your early life prior to entrepreneurship. How did different events in your life led to entrepreneurship, and did you think that you'll become a founder one day? Any glimpse of entrepreneurship that was observed initially?
So, yes, and no in many multiple reasons. So my early days before entrepreneurship was very short, right? So I had a very short 6 month timeline of working for another company, and kind of decided that this is not the place I have to be in, right? I need to get into entrepreneurship, and it has been something that I in my mind for when I was young because I've seen my dad and he's an entrepreneur. That kind of brought in me my passion to get into entrepreneurship. And that is one of the reasons, I've always kind of, right from college or school or whatever it is, right, I've been engaged on multiple entrepreneurship activities. And when we initially started, I started more into consulting, where we went ahead and acquired firms and building these firms in terms of their sales, and then letting them being sold out, right? So that's what we did, and we worked on multiple consulting works. And from there, I met my co-founders, and they've been great guys. And Kamesh and Arjun. Arjun has been a technology person, and Kamesh has been, a strong pillar for us in terms of operations and running the entire firm, right? And we got together. We wanted to do something exciting in blockchain, and this was back in 2015, 16, and that's where everything started. And right now we are about 350 plus people strong in Chennai. So that's where it all started, and kind of now here we are. So it's been an exciting journey. Entrepreneurship has always taught us to be strong. We've gone through multiple ups and downs, as you see in the crypto market. A blockchain company also travels along with the crypto market. How it's very similar to how the crypto market is volatile,
Yeah.
and I think we've been through our worst times, and we've been through our good times. So it's an exciting journey.
Hmm. Speaking of crypto market, I think for quite some time the market is on a downward curve. Uh,
Yeah.
why do you think? And in many times when the downward curve happens in crypto market, then after sometimes it comes back to the original level, or probably goes up somewhere up higher. But for some time now, it's on a downward curve. The crypto valuation is decreasing. Can you comment on that? What do you think is the future of crypto?
So, crypto usually goes through this cycle, right? It's something that has been a recent, trend that's happening in crypto, and it happens to any, financial asset that is out there. And this has been due to multiple reasons. Obviously, the global market kind of got back from COVID, and everything that was valued really higher kind of came down. And also the market with the war and all that has been happening has been impacted. So that kind of took over crypto as well. And
Mm.
as this was happening, there were multiple DeFi projects that kind of failed, right, and got into a lot of turnarounds. And that kind of also turned down on crypto, and the market went completely bare. So
Mm.
when a market goes bare, it goes really bare in crypto, right? Because it's a new asset, as I told you. And again, this happens. We call it the crypto winter usually, and it's usually in about 1 to 2 years that usually progresses, and it comes back, right? It has to come back sometime, and people go bullish soon. And we believe it'll take at least a year for it to start being bullish again and then grow.
Got you.
Yeah.
Can you tell us w- what are the different lessons that you have learned during your entrepreneurial journey? And what are some of the so when you do mistakes, then only you may learn lessons, and sometimes you can learn from others' mistakes and can totally avoid doing that same mistake again. So, can you tell us about some of those mistakes, failures, or learnings that you have got as an entrepreneur, which others can take away and apply to their ventures or their lives maybe?
Sure, sure. So in terms of mistakes, I would say, everyone has their own share of mistakes. And very similarly, we've done our own mistakes. I think it's all about where you learn and how you apply it, right? So as an entrepreneur, I believe resistance is very important. You will have your bad days. You need to go through it. I think as you build resistance, it took us almost a year and a half to be a company which is stable, right? And we were profitable, but for it to be constantly stable, it took us more than a year and a half.
Mm.
And I think it taught us a lot of resistance and resilience as well as we grew.
Mm.
And so that is something that's very important for an entrepreneur. And the mistakes that we've done is obviously right. As any entrepreneur, we would have taken steps which should have been a much more precautionary steps.
Mm.
We'd have got into partnerships and contracts which we should have probably researched more on or vetted more on, and probably understood that we did a mistake and started backtracking what was a mistake, and we never do that again now. So those kind of mistakes that can be avoided, and I think any quick decision should be avoided. Anything should be thought through. Any decision made on a personal or an emotional choice has to be avoided, right? I think we made mistakes like that. Anything that was made as an emotional decision always turns out to be bad. Uh, Business is all about being logical, and I think if you think very logically and see it as a profession, it turns out very well in the end. So I think that's something that we've seen and learned in the last few years. I
Mhm.
would say that's pretty much, and I'm learning more. So as I learn more, I will definitely tell people about it.
Final question. What is the meaning of entrepreneurship for you? How do you define the term entrepreneur?
I think for me, entrepreneurship is freedom, right? The freedom to express yourself, the freedom to you know do what you think is right for the society, do what you think that is right for your fellow people that work with you. I think that freedom usually don't get it anywhere. And entrepreneurship is also means you know doing something good in life, right? So doing a change, which usually you're not able to do it if you're not an entrepreneur. And I guess it kind of brings in that kind of um, realization that if you are doing something which brings a change, then it's not yourself, your own life that you're impacting. You're impacting a millions of lives. So I think that's something big. And being a company right now getting into the mass market and getting into the consumer market, we are seeing that happen in person. So I think that's what entrepreneurship is all about. You get that freedom to see all of this. So I would, for me, entrepreneurship means freedom.
Gotcha. Well, on this note, we are at the end of the session. Thanks for your time, Ramkumar, and it was a great pleasure to have you on our platform.
No, it was wonderful talking to you, Priyanjan. Thank you. It was nice talking to you guys.